Welcome everyone. Taking a look at our second reading from Mass on Sunday. We often hear this reading at funeral liturgies. And Paul is saying to the Jewish Christians in Rome and the Gentile Christians in Rome that God will not withhold anything you need. Now, they may have been being persecuted, they may have been fighting with each other, and the church wasn't looking too good. That may have been tearing the church apart, the nascent church in Rome. We're not quite sure what the background is, but Paul is trying to say to them, listen, God will give you whatever you need. You just need to ask God. And what's he going to do? Paul is going to raise a rhetorical question. He's going to do it 3 times. So there's the first question, then there's a second question. He raises a third rhetorical question. And each time he raises the question, he gives the answer. Question, answer. Question, answer. I think when we're reading a reading like this, it's good to pause before the reader asks the question, and then pause after it, so that it gives the congregation or you time to reflect. How would I answer that question? Then read the second question, and a lector at Mass could pause. And then kind of just, in that silence, begging the people to think about this a little bit. And then the third question as well. So here we go. Brothers and sisters, if God is for us, who can be against us? He who did not spare his own Son, but handed him over for us all, how will he not also give us everything along with him? Who will bring a charge against God's chosen ones? It is God who forgives us, who will be confident. God, I can't even read it. Hold on for a minute. It is God who acquits us. Okay. I'll start with the second question. Yeah. Who will bring a charge against God's chosen ones? It is God who acquits us. Who will condemn? Christ Jesus, it is, who died, or rather was raised, who also is at the right hand of God, who indeed intercedes for us. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So Paul, like I said, is saying to the congregation there in Rome, God will give you anything you need. He asks 3 rhetorical questions, but notice also that he begins to use legal language. So he says, who will bring a charge against God's chosen ones? So this is the language of the courtroom. He's basically saying, you are God's chosen ones. Who will bring a charge against you? Then he says, it is God who acquits. God is a judge. He declares you innocent because of your faith in Jesus Christ. It is God who acquits us. Okay. Will he condemn us? No. And then it ends with Paul saying that Jesus Christ is at God's right hand in heaven, and he's interceding for us. So he says, Christ Jesus it is. Then there's a long phrase, okay, but Christ Jesus it is, who indeed intercedes for us. So, short reading. It's taken from chapter 8 in the letter to the Romans. It might be helpful if you could read that entire chapter. And once again, I think you understand the reading, what the major point of it is. Now it's really up to us, when we read these readings, to reflect on them and see how they relate to our lives. One of the helpful ways of doing that is by journaling. And there's always space in the Connections workbook to journal. So we're inviting people to consider joining Connections for the season of Lent. We meet on Tuesdays in Upper McShane, 7 o'clock to 8:30, and you're always invited to join us. Thanks, and God bless.